sins of the past. We'll be loose from oppressions at last. How united we ever will stand for the welfare of all in this land. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit which ever received. No more strangers will rule in our home. No injustice to cause us to roam. We have the help of the Almighty above, who shall lead us along in His love. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit which ever received. No more evil on us shall befall. Soon there'll be peace and justice for all. We're together as one in God's might. To gain freedom we'll win every fight. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit whichever receive.
Turning in across our islands and across the world. It is a joy and a blessing to welcome you to the voice of the Raizal Nation, a space where our identity, our heritage, and our collective vision are honored and uplifted. And so this morning, we want to extend a special gratitude to the Raizal Development Center, led by our brother Jairo Rodriguez Davis and his dedicated team, for creating and sustaining this streaming platform that connects the archipelago, the diaspora, and friends of our nation everywhere. You're strengthening us with unity and amplifies our voice. So warm greetings as well to all our hosts, contributors, and partners in San Andres, Providence, Santa Catalina, and those joining us overseas. Today's program brings together educators, spiritual leaders, cultural advocates, scholars, and community members who are committed to one of the most urgent and, I would say, transformative issues of our people, the future of education for the Raizal Nation, and the pathway toward establishing our Raizal Ethnic Caribbean University. So to everyone listening, whether from your home, workplace, or from abroad, thank you for being part of this important conversation. May this program bring clarity, inspiration, and unity as we walk together toward the educational future of that our people deserve. So at this time, I want to lead us in a word of prayer. So please join me as we pray this morning. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning with grateful hearts. We thank you for life, for our community, and for the blessing of gathering together through this program, the voice of the Raizal nation. Lord, guide our thoughts and our words this morning. Give us wisdom, clarity, and unity as we discuss the future of education for our people. May every participant and every listener feel your presence and your peace. Bless the Raizal Development Center, its leaders, and all those who labor for the well being of our nation. And bless our people, bless our entire islands. We place this program, our plans, and the vision for the Raizal Ethnic Caribbean University into your tender hands. May everything we say and do this morning bring honor to you and uplift our people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. And with this, I want to give the word and introduce Brother Jairo Rodriguez Davis, who will make a presentation for this program this morning.
Yes, good morning, Ras Edgardo, Dr. Siegfried, and to our guests and the audience that we have this morning. The Voice of the Raizal Nation streaming and radio program. And today have the topic about the Raizal Caribbean University. We like to share here background of where we coming from and bring you to the current situation where we are toward the reestablishment of a Raizal University in the archipelago of San Andres, Old Providence, and Catalina here in the Caribbean. Um, we as a people coming uh, historically making effort from even from time of slavery after emancipation, spiritual leaders, especially from the Baptist denomination in the archipelago, made a wonderful work to educate the people, the Raizal people, the enslaved Africans descendants here in the archipelago. And we did a good work. They did a good work. Sisters in that role set the foundation of education in the archipelago. Until today, they remain. Still, they have a lot of persecution and oppression from then the colonial mentality and policies of the Colombian state from then. And the school there were persecuted. And it happened so to modern times when again the leaders of the archipelago, spiritual leaders, religious, make a move to set the first university in the archipelago. That's what was known as the Christian University of San Andres and Providence Islands, led by Dr. George May. He did a wonderful work mobilizing and inspiring the other leaders in the archipelago, and together, joining hand, they did an excellent work and established in a special way the first university, and it functioned for our time. We will see some photos here of the first moments of the university built by the people self, starting from the 1990s. The land was donated by Dr. George May, and it is his family inheritance, and it plays for the purpose of a collective and a community benefit to have the first university here. And we see some more photos of of the process of the gathering and the surrounding of leaders from all over the archipelago, from San Andres, from Providence, and not only from the Baptist denomination, but also from other religious denomination, even from other people settlement here in the archipelago supported that initiative, like the Syro-Lebanese people was, and he approached the support of people in the United States, especially in the south part of the United States, and especially Afro Americans, churches, etc. He did a wonderful work, and in that way, they lift up the university. The first Raizal University, known again as say as the Christian University of San Andres of Providence. This is a pioneer work because if we're not mistaken, there are no other ethnic people in the country that do something similar to build their own university. There are other ethnic university, yes, in the country and elsewhere, but usually it is done by the support of the state. This one, the Christian University, the first Raizal University, was done by the people self. It is the people university, the Raizal People University. So here you see some photo of Dr. George Mills surrounded by spiritual leaders, governmental authorities from the archipelago, and so forth. There is an unfortunate situation to say here that the state of Colombia appointed the security department that we know here in Colombia as the former DAS, Departamento Administrativo de Seguridad. Unfortunately, they persecuted the leaders, the Raizal leaders, and the initiative of having their own university. And for many, many, many years, it was being persecuted. This is not something that we are invented. It is documented. There is a special book that it has had, and that the justice system today have it in their hand. They confiscated, where they follow and persecuted the leaders thus far the simple matter of seeking the rights of higher education for the native people of this archipelago. They even consider and define this initiative of the Raizal University as threat, a threat, a threat toward the sovereignty and the integrity of Colombia. Something very hard to imagine that such a dignified effort they could consider it as such. Here is Dr. Jared May with wife, Miss Virginia, and some of the two of the main supporters that they had in that time from the United States of America. Anytime the Raizal people approach any international support, it usually happen that the response of the Colombian state, historically, I'm not saying today, had been this type of reaction to go against any type of support because they live with a paranoia against any intent of the Raizal people to exercise their rights of self-determination, of sovereignty, of autonomy. And that happened with this situation with the Christian University. Here is a statement from the book of the DAS. Please turn back to the previous slide, where the Colombian government in that book that is not an invention, they even recognize there that the persecution is not those with the Christian University of San Andres, but it's something that coming from the 1970s when they had and they take out that what they call and we know as the secret book of the Colombian government toward the Raizal people, you know. And this is thus a continuation that come up in the 1990s and a first part of this century. And it wasn't a persecution only against the Christian University. We won't touch the other parts, but there was persecution of many other leaders and initiative of the Raizal people to exercise their rights on their territory, the ancestral territory of the nation. Okay, so this is the conclusion here that we so far this we stress on this because Majority of our people don't know this. This was a secret persecution, and people have in their mind that the that first chapter of the Raizal University ended just because of financial or economical issues, but it was more than that, and we will develop this topic in further program deeply for you to have details. So we continue. After the university was closed, he received persecution, closed, abandoned, and dismantled. Until today, we are on a state of resistance, um, trying to keep up, determined that we won't permit it to die, and we comply with it. We have many years in that situation. It's a persecution against a people. The state had also persecuted many human rights defenders, to give you an example, the Colectivo de Abogados Social Vía Respeto, they carried the case of their persecution to the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights. And in 2002 and in 2020, it passed to the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. And in 2024, the Inter-American Court ruled against the state of Colombia as international damage and violation of the right of these people. We will treat that in further program as well. But we just like to show you here, just like how they persecute an organization, like the organization of lawyers, of defender of human rights, and they get condemned. We, the Raizal people, suffer the same situation, and it was a persecution not against an organization in our case, but against a full people, an ancestral and ethnic nation here in the Caribbean. This is calling for reparation. And in spite we didn't put a case at the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights, it and the current government of Colombia, if they are conscious of what the state did historically, not the current government did it, but the state historically did it to us, it called for a reparation upon the Raizal people. In 2012, when they have the ruling of the International Court of Justice, we embraced that moment was to make a list of petition to the national government. And there, amongst other things, when we asked for a Raizal Statute of Autonomy and many other things, one of the point there on that list of petition in 2012, November 19, when the court, international court ruled against the dispute between Nicaragua and Colombia, we asked also that they support the Christian University. We asked to the Colombian state. And we made some advancement there, talking, going along, and exploring the way for them to support it. Always they have a position that they see the Christian University of San Andres and Providence as a private university, because in Colombia they manage basically two categories of university, which is private and public. In spite we, from the cosmovision and the vision of the Raizal people, we had never seen the Christian University as a private university, but as a community, an ethnic university. Unfortunately, Colombia wasn't to that level of advancement in their conception of higher education in Colombia, contrary to other countries, even to our neighbor here in Nicaragua and elsewhere, that manage something more farther and broader than those simply a private and a public university. Further on, lately, Colombia came up to modernize themselves in this conception, and we will share further on how today they have a system of education for ethnic university, for indigenous as well as for blacks, Raizales, and Palenqueros. But from 2012, we was exploring to have the recognition as an ethnic university. Unfortunately, the laws in Colombia never up to that at that moment, but we explore and press from that time. We continue in the falling of the Raizal University, the Christian University. We continue was to make lobby, looking support to with many other places in the world, other countries. We touch Jamaica, we touch in even in far India. To the day we are approaching other help in Europe, like Sweden, United States, Nicaragua, etc. We had been very proactive in spite the perception of the people is that the Christian University died. It hadn't died. It's in a state of resistance, the Raizal University. In 2023, with the government of Gustavo Petro, he in a visit here in the celebration of the Independence Day, 20th July 2023, he made amongst his many announcements, he announced about the support for Raizal Caribbean University. Is a government and a president that we feel that he identify with our historical struggle and our rights, and he do over and over many action toward it. Even they may advance slow, it manifests his goodwill. So he make the announcement there in 2023. That's the next key moment of our story. And I want to share some literal words that he did in that day here in the island. I will translate this in to English. When he say, and we recognize, because we did make a reclaim to him personally, that indeed he recognized that the Raizal people is passing through a process of ethnocide or genocide that is caused historically from Bogota, from the capital of Colombia, where the central government is located. And it had been done by the political power of Colombia. And he recognized that that situation need to be reversed. It need to be repaired, historical reparation. And he manifested that they won't permit that another culture, no matter if it came from the Amazonas or from the other spot in Colombia, include the Pacific or Caribbean, he won't permit for another culture to die. And he consider, he know that we are passing through an ethnocide, we are minority in our territory and unprotected the lands and other rights, where those being diminished constantly. So he considered that it was necessary to create the what he called La Gran Universidad Raizal del Caribe, the Raizal Caribbean University. He recognized our limitation in lands, but we have a huge extensive sea, and we have a powerful and a population, people with courage and dignity that determine not to die, but to survive and rise back up again. So he announced that of the creation of the Raizal Caribbean University. So we continue, and from that moment in 2023, we had been insisting to talk with the Ministry of Education, but unfortunately, we suffer a lot of resistance from that office. Functionaries and people hired here are aligned with politicians that have other interests more than the right of education for the Raizal people, but might be behind the resources and the money that coming along with this university have making our life very, very difficult. But finally we made it, and we get them after nearly 2 years to sit down the 6th of November, sorry, the 28th of November 2024, we get to sit down here in San Andres with some functionaries from the Ministry of Education to start to draw the path, the route toward the establishment of the announced university by the President Petro. But still the resistance continue on until today. Today, 28th of March 2026, we having still resistance from functionary inside the Ministry of Education that we are denouncing, and we continue. It is an ethnic university, and it would be deal with the representative and the instance of representation of authority of the Raizal people, which is today the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority. So they take out a decree, the Colombian government last year, 2025 in October, that created finally the system of higher education for the black communities, the Raizalis and Palenqueros. And in that decree, they recognize explicitly the role of the Raizal Authority, the Raizal Council, as the instance and the only one to decree and create Raizal University in the archipelago. Still, we have been certain resistance. We looking to advance. They have hired a feasibility study, and that's the point where we're into right now. Soon, meeting with the university that was hired to do that feasibility study, the Raizal Authority, will meet with them and involve massively and participatorily, highly participatory, the different expression of the Raizal society in the construction and establishment of this. That's the decree 1098 from October 2025. This is those open and a brief and hurry background. this situation with the Raizal University. We have many guests today. We have some guests from that was protagonists in the chapter of the creation and operation of the Christian University that will share with us. We have also some guests, international and national, that are willing to support and manifest their a will to support and work with us in this establishment of the second chapter of the Raizal University. And they will have a brief time to share with us. We will start to have a program every Wednesday dedicated exclusively toward the education of the Raizal people, you know. So that is more or less briefly his introduction. Pastor Edgardo, who is also an attorney, he will share briefly now about that decree 1098. Uh, Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Jairo, for sharing such a complete background and history of our struggle for a university. It brought me great memories. Brother Jairo, remember that first Saturday morning we went down there, Raizal people from all over the island to start cleaning that wilderness in South End. So, as I have been requested, I am going to talk about Decree 1098 of 2025 that Brother Hiram mentioned, the regulation that officially opens the path toward the creation of our Raizal Ethnic University. And so I will share the legal framework of that decree as it regards the creation of the Raizal University. My purpose is to explain this regulation clearly, with solid grounding and in simple language so that our entire community can fully understand how this university is created, who has the authority to do so, and what steps must be followed briefly. So, why was Decree 1098 of 2025 created? I want to start with that background and the spirit. And I would say that the Decree 1098 arises from a long history of, I was sharing, a long history of struggle and exclusion, but I would say also a faith, a vision, and perseverance on the part of our people. Hiro shared that clearly. So, first, I want to say that this decree was created because Law 30 of 1992, which regulates higher education in Colombia, allows for the creation of universities in general. In fact, it did permit the establishment of the Christian University of the Archipelago, led by Reverend Dr. George May, as we know. And that university was a monumental achievement and operated for a few years. However, although Law 30, and hear me good here, allowed that Christian university to be created, it did not provide special protection as an ethnic institution. As a result, our Christian university faced financial limitations, lack of institutional support, political resistance, persecution of the DAS, as Jairo clearly shared, and definitely a Colombian vision at the time that is disconnected from our Raizal idea of autonomy. So, in summary, while it was possible to create a university, it was extremely difficult to sustain it without a framework that recognized our identity, um, and our own authority. So the second reason why Decree 1098 was created is to correct such historical injustice. This decree was created to ensure then that racial education projects, also for the Black people in Colombia, um, the Palenqueros, for us as a people to never again be undermined, that our authorities exercise real control, and that our culture, spirituality, language, and worldview are respected. Decree 1098 legally recognizes, as I mentioned, Black, Afro-Colombian, Raizal, and Palenqueros communities as legitimate creators um, of our own higher education. The third reason I would mention, it responds to a presidential commitment. Harry was sharing a little bit about that earlier. During his visit to the archipelago, President Petro promised to promote the creation of the great Caribbean University for the Raizal people. That political commitment was later translated into legal backing through this Decree 1098. And finally, I would share a fourth reason. The decree seeks to ensure that higher education does not simply arrive in the territory, but that it is born from the people themselves. That is very, very important. That the university, for example, in our case, is grounded in Christian, cultural, and territorial identity, and that we as a people may exercise educational autonomy and self-governance with the support, obviously, of the Colombian state. So let's go to the point. What is Decree 1098? Decree 1098 of 2025 regulates Decree 1075 of 2015, which is the unified regulatory decree of the education sector in Colombia. And it establishes a special pathway different from the traditional one with Law 30 for universities that are community-based, intercultural, of a special public nature, and created by our own ethnic authorities. So who creates the Raizal Ethnic University? You know, what is the exact legal basis? And this is stated with absolute clarity. Aaron mentioned this in Article 2.5, 6.31, which establishes the competence to issue the administrative act of creation. Paragraph 1 is clearly of this article specifies that for the archipelago, now listen to me clearly, for the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Catalina, the authority competent to create the university is the Raizal Council. Clear, we are the only one with this faculty. And so this means that the Raizal Council is the only legitimate authority, that no other institution, foundation, or committee has the power, and that it cannot be replaced by third parties, external groups, or volunteers. I know that there have been many conversations around what they call a comité promotor or promoter committee. And I just want to make a brief, I think it's necessary to make a brief clarification. Because for our community, it is important, my people, to understand that Decree 1098 does not mention or require a comité promotor, a promoter committee, okay? Law 30 does not require it. And no education, in fact, no education regulation mandates it. I was researching to see where that comité promotor come, and I didn't find it in any regulation. So I came to the conclusion that such a committee has really no legal basis, cannot lead the process for us, cannot replace the Raizal Council, and its actions are not really binding. And if imposed without genuine participation, In my view, it violates the principles set out in what I mentioned, Article 2.5 of that decree, because we have some principles in that decree: autonomy, autonomy, self-determination, self-governance, cultural identity, territoriality, and definitely broad community participation. So the Ministry of Education, um, talking about this, decided to contract the Universidad del Valle to carry out the feasibility study. And I may say that this is legally permissible, but I want also to say that I think it must be done correctly. I think we all can agree with that. It is important for the community to know that the Raizal Council, and Haro mentioned this, submitted several serious proposals regarding who should conduct the study. These proposals were rejected by the Ministry of Education without clear technical justification. And ultimately, the ministry decided to contract the Universidad del Valle. Uh, Today, we state clearly that we have no problem, I would think, working with the University of Valle, and that we are willing to collaborate, um, but always within the framework of Decree 1098 and with absolute respect for Raizal authority. The University of Valle must work directly with the Raizal Council and with the bodies that the Raizal Council establishes. The Raizal Council, according to this law, can establish a body, special for this purpose, and they cannot work with unauthorized committees. So the guiding principles of Decree 1098, I would say that every stage of the process must respect autonomies, as I mentioned, self-governance, cultural identity, territory, community participation, interculturality, and the Christian and spiritual principles of the Raizal people. These principles, according to this decree, form the backbone for this university. And so there are some steps that this law, suggests that we need to follow. Like, for example, very important, according to that first article, 2.563.1, the Raizal Council must issue the official document declaring the creation of the Raizal Ethnic University. This document functions as, we would say, the birth certificate for this new university. Without it, I believe, according to this law, all subsequent steps remain incomplete. So, creation of the Raizal Council for Higher Education would be like the step 2. Although no mandatory under the decree, but it is recommended that the Raizal Council establish this technical body to support the process. The third thing would be the feasibility study. Many talks, as I said, are going around the feasibility study. And the feasibility study is an analysis that determines whether the university is viable and necessary. It addresses questions such as which academic programs our territory need, what resources are available, how many students may enroll, what cultural and spiritual foundation should guide the institution, and what infrastructure is required. Although the University of Valle prepares this study, according to the law, it must always do so in dialogue and the leadership of the Raizal Council and the Raizal Council for Higher Education that we might create, that can be created. The approval of the Ministerio de Educación, body of self-governance, qualified registry of academic program, and beginning of operation. Many steps that needs to follow. But I would close with this. And to my brothers and sisters on the island and in the diaspora, because I really want to encourage us. Because today we stand at a decisive moment in our history. For many decades, others might had made decisions for us as a people. Today, this decree, this law 1098, recognizes that we must decide for ourselves. We cannot allow external actors to manipulate this process, individuals with unrelated interests to take ownership of this process, our legitimate authority to be undermined. We can't allow that to happen, or the community to be divided. We cannot be divided around this process. Decree 1098 was created again to safeguard our autonomy, protect our rights, and prevent the history of the Christian university founded by Reverend Dr. George May from being repeated under centralist pressures. Our university will be a beacon of culture, a house of wisdom, a space of faith, and a symbol of educational freedom. And so I want to tell us this morning that it is our duty, my people, to defend it, to guide it, to protect it. The Raizal Council, as Brother Hara was mentioning, has fought for this process with dignity and determination. And it is now our collective responsibility to support this legitimate authority so that no one takes this dream away from us. The Raizal Ethnic University is not merely a project, I may say. It is an act of historical justice, a spiritual victory, and a legacy for future generations. So to continue this vital dialogue, I now give the floor to our distinguished guest. And Brother Hyra, I don't know who will take over now, but I invite everyone to listen with open minds and willing hearts, because this is a project of the entire people, and together we will make it a reality. So, Dr. Siegfried, good morning. God bless you. Welcome.
Good morning, Pastor, and good morning, everyone. We want to welcome, thank you, Pastor, for this important presentation of Decree 1098. Very, very important. We want to welcome as well all our guests visiting us today. Thank you for coming and participating in our program today. And we want to remind you the number of our radio program, which is +57 if you're calling out of Colombia, +57 318 729 4817. You can call and join us. And you can remember you have only 1 minute if you want to comment or if you want to say something. You can call and join us as well. We want to go right ahead and give the welcome to our guests. We have a lot of guests with us today for this important topic about our education, our Christian university, or our Raizal education. And we want to invite all the guests. Remember that we have a lot of guests with us. We have brief time, so we want to give you, like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes is enough, or you can decide, but we will be, unfortunately, limited the time because we have as well on Wednesday we will be having our educational program. This Wednesday educational program will be called Roots and Horizons Raizal Education. Roots and Horizons Raizal Education will be on Wednesday. We will decide if it's going to be in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. So let's invite Dr. Sylvia Montoya Duffis to come and join us. Dr. Sylvia Montoya is Doctor in Education, Interculturality, and Territory. And she has as well has a doctorate in History and Human Studies, Europe, America, Art and Language in Pablo de Olavide University of Sevilla, Spain. Welcome, Dr. Sylvia.
Hello, good morning to everyone.
Your microphone is on mute, Dr. Sylvia.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Welcome.
Okay, good morning to everyone. Thank you for this invitation. Thank you for this great opportunity to share about the Raizal University. I heard Pastor Edgardo Martinez, and I think it's very clear what he talked about the decree. I think it's important for you to know that this type of decree was existed in Colombia for indigenous people from 2014, but we didn't have the opportunity for Raizal people to have our own university because we didn't have this like the law, what we call like the piso jurídico for our own institution. So I think this is very important to you to know. So I'm here to speak about this topic in this morning.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sylvia. Thank you very much. We want to invite as well Dr. Andres Palacio. I don't know if he's present with us. Let's check if he's connected.
Yes, here I am.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Andres Palacio is Associate Professor at Lund School Economics and Management, Erasmus Director of Masters of Science in Development and Economic Growth. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Andres.
Thank you, Dr. Cassell and Edgardo. First, I have to congratulate you for this event. It's my first time that I've been invited, so I'm really glad to actually be part of this process that is just beginning. How San Andres and Providence is able to actually be able to produce their own university, following their own values, as Edgardo was mentioning. That's really, 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 really an important step. For me, who has been working in a Swedish university for many years, is very glad to actually be able to participate in the sense that here in Sweden, the whole story about the blue economy is a very, very important topic. And I believe that it is also for you, for the people who live in the Caribbean. Here we have many followers of Mia Mottley Crew, the Prime Minister of Barbados. And since then, what I have seen in the master program that I direct, a lot of people actually have been writing about what's going on in the Caribbean. And then you had the impression that, we should be doing the same in Colombia, especially in San Andres. So what I really would like to do is to actually become part of that process. And what I've been offering to Jairo Rodriguez and also to my relatives who live in San Andres, because the reason why I have this, close commitment to San Andres is because when I was a young student, I used to actually always come and work during vacation in San Andres. And my brother lives there. His wife, Arna Forbes James, always actually gave me, shared her love for San Andres with me, and also my nephew and relatives are still there. And therefore, we have this, very important commitment to actually be able to see how we actually can move forward this topic about the blue economy. And then I said, what better place than San Andres and Providence? So what I am proposing more or less is that I really would love to actually, as soon as the decree becomes, I know that it's a reality, but that the university becomes a reality in itself, as Edgardo was mentioning, in terms of how many students, the programs and the infrastructure, how we actually can come up with an agreement between Lund University. Right now, we have many agreements in Colombia, and I really would like to extend that offer to this, let's say, baby university that is coming out. And here, the whole idea will be to actually find a way that we actually can start changes, academic exchanges, and also for students to be able to know exactly what is it that the people here in Scandinavia who have an interest for the blue economy, the history of the Vikings, okay, they take that seriously. And that is the reason why they actually put so much effort on that idea of the blue economy. It's something that we actually could share with the university. In the same line, I have to mention that here there is this World Maritime University. Perhaps you have heard of it. We also have a lot of colleagues who actually work there. They know about San Andres, they have heard of it, but they haven't had, I believe they only have had one student from San Andres in their whole history. So I believe that there are a lot of opportunities that we actually could try to exploit together. And that is more or less actually the offer that I'm coming today to make. I also work with other universities in Colombia. I work with another university in External University in Bogota. I work with the Javeriana. I also work with the Universidad de La Guajira, where this topic of identity is a really crucial and important topic. I just came nearly like a month ago from actually having done an experiment in economic games in La Guajira. And most of the students that I met, they were telling me that they could not speak Guayu. Okay, and that's a pity. In the case of San Andres, we have exactly the opposite. We have people who actually speak perfect English, and on top of that, you speak Spanish. So you really have an advantage that not many students in the Americas actually can benefit from. So I really would love to actually find ways for us to actually come closer together and be able to work in really materializing this dream that Edgardo was mentioning in the beginning, that to have the time to decide how you want to educate the current and also future generations of Raizal people. So from here, from my bottom of my heart, and my brother Rafael Francisco Palacios, who actually lives in San Andres, and I know some of you know him, we are always actually in conversation to find ways to actually be able to help you in this new endeavor that you are actually embarking on. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Castel. Thank you, Edgardo, and the Dr. Martinez, and everyone who actually has been part of this effort. You can count on me for anything regarding this effort that you are starting to embark upon. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Andres, for this important agreement that we're having with the Raizal Council and the Lund University. We're going to sign, Pastor Edgardo, an agreement between the Lund University and the Raizal Council to exchange knowledge and different programs. So that is very, very important. So that this is an exchange with Sweden, and this is very important. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so we have some people from Providence as well, Pastor Edgardo. Thanks very much, Dr. Andres. Right, Pastor Edgardo, we have some people from Providence visiting us as well. We have Dr. Fanny Howard, and we'd like you to join. She's a psychologist from Providence.
I think Miss Sylvia need to speak. I think she might have see if she have any other comments to make.
Sure. We will bring back Dr. Sylvia with us, but we want them to say, to say at least they can join us and say, and give a brief comment as well, and then they can come back. So we invite Dr. Fanny Howard to join us.
Hello,
welcome. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you all? Greetings to everyone.
Welcome. Hello, Fanny.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking about the university history, we were joined because in the first Jeff project of Coralina, part of my work was to help create the curriculum for what we call Tecnología en Recursos Marinos y Costeros. Why did we do that? Because Coralina said they want workers that were people that live here. We don't want to import people that study marine biology or something, but we want to give our people the knowledge to be able to handle our environment and our resources. So these students studied for 7 semesters, and actually 20 of them graduated. I mean, we had more, but we had like a dropout rate, always that happens when you create a program. At least half graduated. And what we intended to do in this program was to see what were the needs of knowledge and of management that these students needed. So what we did was created a program where when the student graduated, what they would do, they would know about how to manage our key species biodiversity, for example, the black crab, the iguana, the conch. They learn how to dive. They took courses for diving, so that could be part of their work also. They learn about how to monitor DCM species, monitor the fauna, the flora, the forests. I mean, they learned so many things. I just want to show you all this book. This was one of the texts that we use. And the rest of my text went into the hurricane, so I can't show you. But I mean, we try to get people from the Mangrove Action Project from the Cayman Brac, and we created a curriculum for the mangroves of San Andres and Providence. We translated it and we adapted it, so the students received that also. They received courses about, not all of them, but some of them received courses how to plant coral. I imagine that is something very specialized, but we thought our students should know these things. So this was something that involved the Caribbean. We brought people from outside to talk with them and understand that we were part of a bigger ecosystem, and what we do here would impact the rest of the world, no matter how small we were. I mean, this was something that they did, beach monitoring, they did everything. And then finally, what we did, Coralina hired many of those students, and up to today, you have people that were in that program that are still working, whether at Coralina or at the national park. So I know that this was something very important, because Coralina made that agreement with the Christian University, and after that, well, I became like the Christian University itself, and well, finally, I was the person in charge, because different people were doing other things. So really, I mean, that was one of really my best experience, and my students are always reminding themselves. Even they went to a field trip to Costa Rica, learning how to monitor turtles. I mean, this was something different and new, not unlike any other program you could say you can get in 3.5 years.
Excuse me, Fanny. Excuse me a minute. So we want to say goodbye to our listeners on the radio program. Thank you very much, our listeners on Good News Radio. We want to invite you to come and join us on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. So, and remember, the program is every Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning. And remember as well that we will be having a chapter or a program on education, specialized on education, every Wednesday. So thank you very much, Good News Radio, and you are welcome to join us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Continue, Fanny, please.
No, so I was just saying that how that program was unique in that sense, and it's something that you can repeat, because like we have the basis, and we can even better it, because you have so many more resources in like the artificial intelligence, or you have better internet. So I mean, I think that this is something that we could even include, making our curriculum for other stuff like the botany of our islands, the fauna of our islands. Get all those resources, take up all those books that our people have written about these things and other people, and include them in the curriculum for the people, the young people and the youth, to know where they live. They don't live on a continent, they live on an island. And as soon as they understand, I live in a place with limited resources, how I supposed to behave, how I supposed to manage it. I mean, that is the bottom line of everything. Get to know my place.
Thank you very much, Fanny. Thank you very much for that. And I mean, this is very important. I understand that you were part of the first chapter of the Christian University, right?
Yes. They had the program for education for the teachers, and then they had our program. So that was what we were doing.
Thank you very much, and welcome to join us, Fanny. We have with us as well Dr. Fidel Corpus. Welcome, Dr. Fidel. You're on mute, Dr. Fidel. Your microphone is on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. Definitely I came to learn. When you hear you have so much distinguished guest that has so much information, I prefer to listen to talk last. But first of all, I just have to say thank you for visited me at my home, and to have me here commenting on what has done said already, and well done, Dr. Edgardo. You have helped me to not to go through all what you have done, and you did it well done. So there is nothing more to add different from what you said, for example, when the ruling of the International Court of Justice against Colombia to take away the territory from Colombia, but not from us. The territory is still belong to San Andreas because we haven't been to court. You only lose cases that you do not go, or you were not called. We were not called and we did not go. So that is not against us. We have to continue holding on that. Colombia lost, but these rights are being maintained because they were not called. We were not called and we were not heard. So we have that as a great issue for our environment protection. One of the things that it worries me about the feasibility studies that is part of the requirement is that the feasibility study has to have something that is very difficult for us to comply with. Feasibility study has to have that we have to have sufficient resources to maintain the economical part of the university. And they have to really study that very well because it doesn't matter which project it is, we always need financial. And that is one of the things that is happening against the university. And that's why it fails because we study without financial. And about the requirements, you have said it all, and I have nothing else to add to it, Doctor, because you said it very well. But remember, the feasibility study has to have certain things that we have to outline. It says on the article 25(6)(43) that the feasibility study has to have the approval of the socioeconomic feasibility that has sufficient funding resources for its operation. We have to look on very well. But further ahead, he said that this is going to be managed by a board, management of the self-governance. We have 10 people that are managing it, the self-government, but still we have less people of the Raizal people in the self-management. I think the oath that it is not sufficient, the law. The law is still having us behind the decisions or not taking care or part of the great decisions of us. The same thing happened with Coralina. The majority of people that take decision in Coralina are not from San Andreas, has nothing to do with San Andreas, and they have more vote than the Raizal people. In the Okra, the same thing. Not the Okra is supposed to be part of Coralina, and Coralina is supposed to be part of Okra because they are the two most important institutions to maintain our feasibility studies in action, working for the people and for the environment. Okra is for the people, and the Coralina is for the environment, and the people is part of the environment. And I do not know if Okra people knows Coralina people or Coralina knows the Okra people. We are not working together. We need to put those people to work. And now, with the institution that we call the university, we have to work together, three of us. Part of the feasibility study, we have to study and work with them. For example, what Fanny said and what Dr. Panasa said is very good. I remember I was part of the organization of the Christian University. In fact, I was a lawyer of the whole process. It began in my office. And we wanted to give it name San Andreas University. So I said to Pastor Judge, why don't we give it a broader name to bring in more people? But still that broader name keep out a lot of people. I said, why we don't say Christian University? It takes all the Christian. We forget that we had a lot of people that are Christian, but they are good people. Maybe we should have just give it name Pastor George University. That would be very better, much better, because it brings in a lot of people that are not Christian, but they are good people. So the name of Christian University, I was who suggested to Pastor George, and he said very good. And we need to homage that man. We have not honored him the right way. And I'm part of the legacy of Pastor George because he taught me to love San Andres more. And he asked, for example, to put his body at the Christian University's campus. And we do not have it. We do not even what they got, one cup of his the grave mud. We should bring them and make a statue for him to have a starting point. We need to have a pivotal moment in which we construct on what we have already. Because up to now, there is very few people that could say they have the merits of Pastor George, not to dismerit nobody else. And I really came here to learn and to give my experience about the Christian University because I was part of it from the beginning until it's finished, and still is not part of it because the university is still in my mind, in my project, and in my life. The Christian University is still alive because I'm dreaming on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Fidel. Pastor Edgar, any comments?
No, that was amazing. I can remember Dr. Fidel down there at the Christian University, around with Dr. George May. I was a young attorney, just finished and learning from them. But yeah, what he has mentioned is right on point, and I know that Brother Jairo and many others are working on some of those suggestions. So very soon, I'm sure you will hear about that, Dr. Fidel, to honor Dr. George May as he deserved.
Dr. Fidel, your knowledge is very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We have with us as well Magister Marta Lucia Duran. I don't know if she's present. Yes, Marta Lucia Duran has a magister in government and public policies from. Sorry, we have a noise in the back.
Ay, perdón. ¿Se escucha demasiado? Buenos días a todos.
Yes, good morning.
Buenos días a todos. Voy a hablar en español. Qué pena con ustedes. Bueno, mi nombre es Marta Lucía Durán. Soy magíster en Gobierno y Políticas Públicas de la Universidad Externado. Pues muy contenta escuchando todo este proyecto y con muchas ganas de vincularme desde la parte de todo el apoyo en la construcción de los documentos, en ya hacer operativo este sueño que me parece maravilloso y una oportunidad importantísima tanto para San Andrés como toda la población afro, raizal, palenqueros, porque creo que es una oportunidad maravillosa el poder estar en este momento formando parte de toda esta estructura de lo que vamos a lograr. Creo que bastante emocionada de pertenecer a esto y quiero ofrecer todo mi apoyo, todo mi conocimiento. Llevo 25 años trabajando en la parte administrativa y de diseño de programas, entonces creo que vamos a hacer un trabajo maravilloso de aquí en adelante.
Muchísimas gracias, señora Marta Lucía, por su apoyo. She's saying that she's keen to help us. She's from the Universidad, what university again, Pastor Edgardo?
Externado de
Colombia.
Externado de Colombia. So, muchas gracias por su participación y su apoyo. Tenemos también a la señora Sandra Montero con nosotros. Bienvenida. Estás en silencio.
Ya, gracias. Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Sandra Montero. My name is Sandra Montero. Me siento muy afortunada de poder aportar también en este proyecto. Como lo comentaba también la doctora Marta y otras personas que han intervenido, esperamos que con la experiencia que tenemos en hacer parte de otras instituciones de educación superior a nivel nacional, tanto públicas como privadas, podamos aportar a la consolidación de este importante proyecto para San Andrés y la comunidad raizal, no solo desde la mirada de la implementación de proyectos, digamos, de este gobierno, que es muy importante, sino que sea una política que permanezca en el tiempo para el beneficio de toda la comunidad de San Andrés Islas. Entonces, muchísimas gracias y estamos a su total disposición.
No, muchísimas gracias a ustedes por su apoyo y su participación en este gran proyecto. Gracias.
Gracias.
So they're saying that they are keen to help us. There are two professionals from different universities in Colombia, Sandra Montero and Marta Lucia Duran. They are saying that they are happy to help us and to join. They are professionals with a lot of experience and work in the development of projects like this magnitude. Pastor Edgardo.
Yes, definitely. It's just so amazing to see so many people that want to help us in this process. And they did not just appear out of the blue. This is because of the hard work that the Raizal Council, Pastor Alberto, Brother Jairo, and many others are doing in regards to this Raizal University. So this didn't start in October. This is a long process that a lot of people are working hard behind stage, trying to make this a reality. So I appreciate that we have people also knowledgeable in Bogota who wants to help us as well.
Yes, we have with us as well Pendale Humphreys Hudson. Welcome. She has a degree in bilingual education and theology. Welcome, Pen.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Pastor Edgardo.
You have a camera that you can turn on?
Good.
Yes, I do. Give me a minute.
Good
You
morning.
hear me well?
Good morning, Pen. Glad to hear you, man. So long no hear you.
Yeah, man. The same. Yeah.
Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Thanks for having me. Sorry I could not connect before. Doing a few things, but I was listening to Dr. Fidel, and I just want to let you guys know that I am in a great measure a result of the Christian University process, along with many others. We had the fortune to be part of that dream, to be products of that project in terms of our education. And today, all of who came out from there are currently working, are part of the labor reality of the island, are contributing to some degree to our growth as a people. However, it is very challenging. Edgardo said it. This is a work that is coming from behind the effort of many people who maybe silently have been doing things, but is also the result of a vision, a spirit, that started with Philip Beekman Livingston, that continue with the First Baptist School. I remember when the AMNSD was just starting, one of the proposals was to recover the First Baptist School from the hands of the government. And that was a gigantic move that also propelled the Raizal people to believe that we could have an institution of higher education. And today we don't have Christian University as such, but that we can realize that spirit, that intention, that vision of education is still there. And we are now striving for something bigger in that same line of understanding that we need education. But at the same time, I will say that the challenge here is not just that we make a feasibility study or we improve on some physical facilities, but the challenge here is to make sure that the vision that started with Philip Beekman, that continue with so many outstanding pastors and educators, that took off into a different level with Dr. George May, that vision will continue to be implicit, embedded in what we are planning to do, and that it will not be swallowed up by the vision of the time. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that our principles, our spirituality should link to our academic intentions. And not just today, is we are living in a world where spirituality, and particularly Christianity, is somewhat absent from the academia. And we cannot allow that to happen in regards to what we are trying to do. And I know that, I mean, we have a lot of people who understand what I'm saying, and the ones who are fighting behind are fighting from that perspective, I trust. But just to complement on all that was said.
Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much for your participation as well.
And of course, before I am off, we are here to help and to serve in whatever our capacities can give us to do. So, well, I mean, that is just how it is.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we have as well today with us the honor to have with us an ambassador of the West Indies University of Jamaica, Dr. Gillian Bristol. Welcome, Dr. Gillian.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome, host. I have been engaging with the Raizal community leaders, Jairo, Roberta Gordon, and had the honor really of coming to San Andres, touring the campus of the Christian University and making representation to the Vice Chancellor of our university at the headquarters here in Jamaica to support this initiative at the request of the government of Colombia. We had some very, very good meetings. We're very encouraged that this is a necessary venture. It is necessary for the Raizal people, for the entire population of the archipelago. We have to keep our identity, our heritage, our culture, our legacy must be that we keep those and that we do not lose who we are. We also have to recognize that we have the talent in the Raizal people to educate, to share, to build the future of the Raizal community and archipelago. So for the University of the West Indies, it was a true honor to be invited to support the Raizal community in the reestablishment of the University of the Caribbean. The vision we share, our university has the same mission to build a region, build a Caribbean people. As you know, the headquarters is in Jamaica, and the Raizal people are largely descendant from Jamaicans. I'm not Jamaican myself, but I am Caribbean from Grenada. So, you know, when you're small, you stand together and you're strong. So small is not what matters, it's standing together. And you certainly have the commitment of the Vice Chancellor, the University of the West Indies, to support this endeavor by the Raizal community and the leadership in particular to make this happen. We are hopeful that the delays that have occurred, because it's been over a year since we have been in this struggle with the Raizal leadership, that those delays will soon be at an end and we can start to see the construction and the realization of this very worthwhile project. We are prepared to support, as the previous speaker said, within the capacity that we have, the resources that we have. As you all know, the University of the West Indies is a top recognized university in the world. It's in the top 3 or 4% of universities. We've just gone higher again in the rankings by Times, higher education. So we more than have the competence. We're the #1 university in the Caribbean. And the scholarship and knowledge about pedagogy, research, how to innovate, AI, distance learning. The scholarship exists at my university, the experience exists. My role here is not in the area of implementation, but in the area of coordination and bridging these gaps and building these bridges. So I really look forward to being able to continue that. I want to wish the and extend my best wishes to the leadership championing this project to continue to do so, and that they will have success very soon. Um, the people of the archipelago deserve this, really deserve this. And it is imperative that we protect and ensure our history is not lost, is not forgotten. So please know, everyone, that you can count on the University of the West Indies. We are here whenever you're ready. We were about to make a delegation early last year, to get this going. But then there was some delays on in the Columbia side. So we are at the ready whenever you're ready. So Jairo and Roberto know how to get in touch with me and with us here at the university. We stand with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pastor. Pastor.
Thank you. I mean, it's just amazing, inspiring to see that we are not alone in this process, that there have been hard work that is being done to make all these connections, and we need to appreciate what the Raizal Council, what Brother Jairo and the RDC and many others are doing to see this dream become true. Something that we need to do ourselves as a people.
Yes, Pastor. I want to thank Dr. Bristol for this great opportunity. The West Indies University has extreme, very good fame here in the Caribbean, and it's an honor to have this university to join in our project. So thank you very much, Dr. Bristol. And indeed, it's an honor to work with you all. We have with us as well Dr. Rene Castles from Nicaragua. So before passing Mr. Mark Taylor, Mr. Mark, we're announcing you to join, but we have with us some other guests that have short time, and we have from Nicaragua, Dr. Rene Castles. Welcome.
Hello, hi, brothers and sisters of the Raizal community, San Andreas, Cataline, Providence. It's a pleasure for me to join you all this morning to encourage all of you people to keep going with this very amazing project. It's a dream from years that a lot of people, Dr. George and others, guys and friends, sisters and brothers that trying to carry out this program or this project of Raizal University. So I feel very happy to know that you all take over this program or this project. That is excellent and one of the best um, tasks and ideas that would be benefit for all the Raizal community, because we all know that education is part of the to avoid mental slavery, and under our experience and as brother and sister from San Andres and the island there with Bluefields, Nicaragua, we have a lot of sharing cultural affairs, in struggles, and we know what that means. It's not so easy, because this is something that you all have years trying to go ahead with, and here in our according to our experience, we start easy in terms because we all in a sudden we begin. But after we had a hard struggle with the to make the government and other university recognize us. So we know that you are going to have struggle, but very important that you all have the support from other university, other country, other persons, friends that are going to be with you all along all this process. In my case, personally, as a former general secretary of Bluefield Indian Career University, well, we have some experience that can be shared anytime you all is ready with you all, and go ahead, and any kind of support we can give you all, well, you can count with it. So keep going with this program, keep going with this, because we know that the development and the success and the social development, or whatever we got from the island is based on education. So if we want to rescue our culture, our cosmovision, our history, our rights, we start with education. That's why sometimes people don't want make we get ahead with education. Because when you have people into the island holding posts and maybe they're not from the island, it's very difficult to restore our rights because they had a vision and they have other mission to do. So the best thing is to have our people encouraging we are each one another and ruling this university at the beginning and forever because only we know our problem, our history, and only we're going to come and fight for it.
Yes.
So I very um, pleasure about this news, and you all can come to me in any moment and with other colleagues that ready to help you in any kind of way can be useful for you all. So I appreciate this effort, and we can keep in touch for anything. And I have a colleague here that will join your effort without no problem. So
Thank you
very
very
thanks.
much, Dr. Rene. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
brother.
So Dr. Rene is visiting us from the BICU, Bluefield and Indian Caribbean University of Nicaragua. Welcome. Welcome, Dr. Rene. We have with
Okay,
us
thank you.
Mr. Mark Taylor as well. Welcome, Mr. Mark Taylor from Providence. Mr. Mark Taylor from Providence, welcome.
Siegfried, I remember you when you was very young when you was Providence. Glad to see you also. And a special greeting to all our hosts and all who view us or listen to us. I am here mainly to give you some ideas of some process that have been in the last years. I have been involved in the process of negotiation with the national government regarding the sentence, the order from the sentence T333. You all know very well what is about that, so I know why talk much about it, but I have been involved in the negotiation and now I'm part of the committee that is making up the following up of all these agreements. In total, we work with 17 sectors from the national, regional, and local government, and we get 386 agreements in total with them, with more than 700 indicators that we are doing. In this last week, they are approving finally. They are negotiating with all the president and the ministers for getting the money, the resources them. So up to yesterday, we finally budget all what we'll need for us to comply with that, including the university. We exact them that they have to have the money, not only for the feasibility studies, but also for the construction or adequation of the university. In Providence, how we are visioning education. We know that the education, we have some flaws in it. Education are not pertinent for our people. So in general, our focus is on all the levels then. We consider that the education have to change in general, starting from the little ones, and the one who go to the BNS star, the one who go to the school, and of course, for the higher education. So in all our proposal and agreement that we get with all these institutions and with ourselves is that we have to change the system of education in our perspective. I don't know if you know, but the education in Providence are not autonomous. It depends on the department and all the guidelines are coming from there. Providence people sometimes have some differences with the education in the archipelago because of all the problems that we have. Many problems that is in San Andres, we don't have it so deep in Providence. So these particularities, we are fighting for these to be visible. More than 90% are the people are still Raizal people in Providence. We don't have this problem with all these outsiders that is in San Andres and exacting their rights, even in education. So the idea that we have is that all the agreement that we get with the national government have to point us to this. And we have agreements for all the levels them. So our goal is that in the whole education system, we supposed to get to our own education according to what we call Raizal education. And Raizal education is not only schools. We acknowledge that Raizal education have to be with the church, it have to be with the community, it have to be with many spaces that are not formal, but we need to get these spaces involved. So right now, for example, we're developing something that we call the community ethno-educational project that will give us the general vision of education of the island decided by the Raizal people and supposed to be implemented in the schools. And that have to got to do with language, that have to got to do with the traditional part, what will be included in the formal education system. So in the case of the university, that is, we have two agreements that talk about it. Providence proposed to the government that we're supposed to have a research center that deals specifically with sustainable development, because we believe that the island at itself is a school. So it can be used for our own self and for others to study this idea of sustainable development involving culture also. So that is one of the proposals that are attached to the university. And in that sense, we acknowledge and Hiro have been know we are working together with San Andres, because the idea of the university have to be a Raizal university that involve Providence and San Andres. We have some particularities that we will give the input of our vision towards it and how we can work together.
And
But
Katlina, don't forget Katlina.
yeah. So that is the mainly the situation. What I want to expose is something that we're going on, and we will be meeting in the way, and we are very willing to work together, even with our particularities. But we acknowledge that some type of decision we have to take together. The one good thing, Pastor Guard on everybody, is that this university is part of the agreement, and there is a binding that they have to comply with it. So I believe we can use it as an extra legal tools to exact them it. And the Raizal University is not only for Providence, it's for San Andres also. So that is all I want to say. And
Thank you
anything that
very
I
much,
can do,
Mark.
I
Thank you.
will
Thank
come
you very
answer.
much for your participation as well.
Thank you,
Dr.
thank you,
Sylvia.
Mark. Mark
Yes.
was my roommate in Bogota.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark. Dr. Sylvia has to leave, so Dr. Sylvia, you can come back and say your final words. Go ahead, please.
On the camera this time because I don't have a good signal. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say to you that we know that education once was a tool used by the colonizer to reshape who we are. But today we got the opportunity to use this tool for our emancipation. So
Amen.
I think we have to really embrace this opportunity. I heard Mr. Fidel Corpus saying, but he have like some concern about the financial part. Well, I want to say Colombia have 64 public university, and if them can work right now, Raizal Caribbean University can work also. So I think there are possibilities. I think there are resources in Colombia. There are resources also in our island because we have to remind that we have, for example, the research that come from the touristic cards and the okra. And we could assign a percentage of that to develop this university. Also, we know that people outside from many other institutions are willing to pay also and to help us financially. So I don't believe that is going to be a problem. I think the most aspect that we need is to be united and understand, yes, this is a cultural process, but it's also very technical. So I'm very pleased to see that a lot of people all around the world are willing to help us with this process. So I'm going to be here, maybe not today until the end, but every Wednesday, if you need it, I will be here. I really want to participate in this process. You all know my experience working in Infotep. I know it's a different institution, but also the same amount of things that we need to comply in Infotep to become a university, because it's practically a university at the moment, was the same requirement that we are going to need to develop this new university with a different focus, intercultural, multilingual institution, what we call in Spanish educación propia. I think it's very important for us to understand what is really this type of institution. So maybe I suggest another program about this topic. What is a educación propia and an institution at this level? So thank you very much. Thank you very much for this invitation. And I'm sorry, but I have to go out.
Dr. Sylvia, thank you very much. Remember, we are having the education program on Wednesdays. We will define the time if it's going to be in the morning, in the afternoon, or the evening, and it's going to call Roots of Horizons, Raizal Education. So you are invited to join us on that program. Go ahead, Pastor.
No, I just wanted to say thanks to Sylvia.
Yes, we have with us as well a leader from the community, from the sorry, let me check. From the Guayú community. Her name is Nasli Martínez. Welcome, Nasli Martínez. Bienvenida, Nasli. Es un honor para nosotros tenerte con nosotros en esta mañana. She's coming from Guajira, Universidad de Guayú. Is she connected? Ryan, see if she's connected. No, no está conectada. She's not connected in the moment. So in the meantime, okay, when she comes back, you just bring her in, Ryan. In the meantime, we have as well Pastor Alberto with us. Go ahead, Pastor. Oh, she's back. She's back. Bienvenida, Nasli. Tienes el micrófono en silencio y la cámara apagada. Si podías prender la cámara y el micrófono, bienvenida. No te escuchamos, el micrófono está en silencio. Ahora sí.
Buenos días.
¿Tienes cámara para prender?
Sí, solo que la señal acá es intermitente. Voy a prenderla para saludarles y luego la apago para que nos pueda servir.
Bienvenida. So Nasli Martinez is a leader from the Guayú community, and she's from the Universidad de Guayú in Guajira. She's going to tell us about her experience. Bienvenida y continúa, por favor.
Muy buenos días. Nasli Martínez, Guayú, de la Iruku Achana. Me encuentro ubicada en Manaure, La Guajira, territorio salinífero, con vocación 100% alrededor de la sal, alrededor de la pesca, y estoy integrada con algunos compañeros del territorio de Nazaret en la alta extrema Guajira en la creación y la construcción de la Guayú, Universidad Nacional Guayú. Voy a apagar la cámara para que no se me interrumpa la señal.
Tranquila, bien pueda.
La Universidad Nacional Guayú surge de la necesidad que tenemos más de 600.000 indígenas del territorio Guayú, que está en toda la zona de Colombia y en La Guajira, en territorios donde vivimos en dispersidad por nuestra manera y nuestra forma de estar en el territorio, en distintas comunidades, y en las que tenemos que movernos por la necesidad de poder abastecernos de agua, de energía y de poder tener acceso también a la educación. Uniguayú pretende ser vinculada directamente al Ministerio de Educación Nacional. Ya la ruta está abierta a raíz de encuentros y espacios de diálogo que hemos tenido con el actual gobierno Cambio por la Vida del presidente Gustavo Petro, que ha abierto esta posibilidad. La Guajira realmente, de más de 1 millón de habitantes que somos, tiene una sola universidad pública. Y las universidades privadas son pocas, si acaso algunos programas que funcionan a través de la misma Universidad de La Guajira. Ha sido complejo esta construcción de esta universidad, sin embargo, hemos estado en esta lucha de que se pueda visibilizar, que se pueda dar este paso de esta necesidad de tener esta universidad, pues trasladarnos desde la alta extrema Guajira hasta Riohacha, donde está la Universidad de La Guajira, y que ya es una universidad que tiene más cobertura a nivel de estudiantes y también mucha más cobertura de otras facultades, que ha ido creciendo. El acceso a ella es cada día más complejo. Es por eso que creemos y estamos seguros, sobre todo porque el territorio y la necesidad académica que tenemos con muchos de los estudiantes que ya terminan su bachillerato y que tienen que realmente llegar hasta Riguacha, que nos queda hasta 8 y 10 horas de desplazamiento para poder llegar a cualquier universidad que nos pueda dar el acceso a tener los estudios académicos de pregrado, incluso de posgrado. Hay muchos profesionales guayú que han hecho mucho esfuerzo estudiando en la Nacional, en la Universidad de Antioquia, pero que quedan solamente con el mero pregrado por las difíciles situaciones también de acceder a posgrados, maestrías, especializaciones. Una sola universidad para tantos habitantes en La Guajira es muy difícil y la necesidad de poder tener un sitio donde estar, albergar a nuestros hijos, hijas que necesitan estudiar y donde ellos puedan llegar de manera más fácil y permanecer y poder hacer todas sus actividades alrededor de su propia dinámica de vida es lo más esencial para nosotros. Por eso
Discúlpame,
estamos en
Nasli.
esta apuesta.
Discúlpame, Nasli, te interrumpo. Qué interesante
Bien.
lo que nos estás comentando y es prácticamente la misma situación que estamos teniendo con el pueblo de Raizal. Entonces, la invitación hoy a que nos comentes de tu experiencia con la Universidad de Guayú es también para poder entender cómo este proyecto de crear una Universidad Raizal puede llegar a ser posible, así como ustedes crearon la Universidad de Guayú, ¿cierto? Entonces,
Está
vemos
en
que
la
ustedes han
construcción.
tenido. Sí, vemos que ustedes han tenido esa dificultad del acceso a la universidad y demás, y nosotros hemos tenido también muchas dificultades, tanto de bloqueos desde el mismo gobierno, de la creación de la universidad y demás, pero estamos invitando y convocando a ustedes que se unen a este proyecto para ayudarnos a hacerlo realidad, así como han venido grandes personas profesionales de diferentes áreas de Colombia, inclusive internacionales, para unirse a esta causa. Y te agradecemos mucho tu participación y sabemos que ese proyecto que ustedes tienen va a seguir saliendo adelante.
Así es.
¿Qué dificultades, aparte de esas dificultades, qué cosas positivas puedes hablar del proceso que ustedes han tenido?
Como positivo es ver cómo las distintas comunidades alrededor de su propia lengua nativa pueden entenderse para la construcción de un proceso. También requiere con urgencia que nosotros como pueblos originarios no perdamos nuestras prácticas culturales, nuestro ser espiritual
Yes.
propio, nuestra cultura y nuestra pertinencia al territorio y a la vocación que el territorio nos da. Si vivimos en el mar, pues nuestra vocación como profesional tiene que estar dirigida a esa economía del mar que no la vemos con otras universidades, sino van más dirigidas a otros contextos mucho más industrializados o mucho más de alcance del capitalismo, cuando nosotros requerimos con urgencia tener alimentos propios para sostener a nuestros hijos e hijas y poder realmente tener un equilibrio en el territorio, en la armonía, en la salud especialmente. No es desconocido para ninguno a nivel de Colombia o a nivel mundial de que el estado de cosas institucionales en que hemos incurrido todos como nación y como personas humanas ha llevado a la muerte de niños y niñas guayú. Estamos necesitando con urgencia que la academia también participe de manera activa y viva a través de los saberes propios que tienen los pueblos indígenas originarios.
Así es, te agradecemos mucho tu participación y queremos invitarte a que estés con nosotros los miércoles. Vamos a dedicar un espacio los miércoles de educación para que puedas comentarnos la experiencia que han tenido en cuanto a la Universidad Guayú, que es fundamental para saber, es un reflejo también de nosotros como pueblo raizal, de lo que podemos hacer para evitar ciertas situaciones y también sacar nuestro proyecto adelante. Muchísimas gracias por tu participación.
Muchísimas gracias a ustedes por esta oportunidad y cuenten con nosotros y otros compañeros que están aún más sumergidos en este propósito para que también puedan darle estas experiencias de lo que se ha ido avanzando. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, gracias. So we jump back to English. She was from the Guayú community, a university in Guayú, and she was telling us the difficulties that they have right now as people, and the abandonment that they have, Pastor Edgardo, as a community, just as how we are having with as the Raizals.
Sure. Yes, definitely. And what is important to highlight from that is that they are leading their own university. They created their own university. They are leading the process. And I think that's a good example for us to follow.
We have now Dr. Taita Ramiro Estacio from the Universidad de los Pueblos en Pasto, Nariño. So he is going to be part as well of this big project that we're having. And welcome, Taita Ramiro. Let's see if he's connected. I can't see Ryan if that he's connected. No, he's not connected. They're telling me that he didn't connect. Okay. All right. So he's another one, another person, another professional will be joining us from the Universidad de los Pueblos de Pasto, Nariño. They have another, it says that they're still, yeah, okay, great. They will be joining us as well to participate in this program. So Pastor, see if we have anyone else. Let's see if we have anyone else that have not spoken. Oh, Pastor Alberto Gordon. Yes. Welcome, Pastor Alberto Gordon.
Yeah, good morning. Just want to say hi to everyone. At the moment, I am traveling, but I just want to say that I've been listening earlier to the program. It's a great experience, and education is a great asset, and we should do all that we can in our effort to make this a reality, not just a dream, but a reality. Dreams are meant to come true, and for dreams to come true, we need to have plans. And I think that's what we are doing. And I want to thank Pastor Dardo, Jairo, Dr. Siegfried, and all the other ones who have been participating. Old friends, a good friend from Bickus University, Rene, and all the others. We just want to say thanks to all of you. I have to shut off at this time because I am exiting now, so I will not be able to. I try to listen for a few minutes more, but thank you for this day and for this program. And I hope that this be the answer to what we have been struggling for the last, I would say, 30 or more years, or 40 years almost. I remember when we started out, when Dr. George came with this idea, we even had we've been talking about this many, many years ago, but it seems like it's coming close now, and this is going to be an opportunity for us to have a Raizal-based university. Thank God for this, and blessing to all of you. And bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Pastor. So, Pastor Edgardo, before you give the final prayer, I would like to give a summary. So, first of all, we want to thank everyone for being part of this big moment that we're having, creating our own space, our own academia, our own university, right? Today, we have heard powerful voices, strong history, and clear vision for the future of the Raizal people and the education in the archipelago. What has been shared here is not only information, it is called for justice, identity, and action. First, we learned that this initiative began in 1990s as the Christian University of the archipelago. It started with the leadership of Dr. George May. We also heard about the difficult history, including the persecution of Raizal leaders and this initiative, which has seen as a threat. This persecution affected not only the university, but also many people who were working to defend their rights. Many people did not know this history, and today it is being brought to light, right? After the university was closed, the Raizal community did not give up. Today, there is a strong spirit of resistance and determination to continue this vision. There is also a clear call for reparations and recognition that Raizal people have faced serious injustice. At the same time, there is progress. So the government has recognized the need for reparations and the importance of creating the Raizal or Caribbean University, as how the President Petro has said. We also heard about the Decree 1098 of October 2025, if I'm not mistaken, Pastor Edgardo, which gives an important legal path. This decree recognizes Raizal people, Palenqueros, and Black communities as creators of their own education. It is also confirms that the Raizal Council is the legitimate authority to lead the creation of this university. Although similar laws exist since 2014, this is the first time this opportunity is truly being open to the Raizal community. There are still changes. Efforts to work with the Ministry of Education have faced resistance, but important progress was made when discussion began in November 28. So the feasibility study supported by Universidad del Valle will help define resources, students, programs, infrastructure, and the cultural and spiritual foundation of this university. And it is clear that this work must be done together with the Raizal Council. We also heard strong support from national and international guests. Representatives from Jamaica, from Sweden, Nicaragua, and other countries have expressed their commitment to support this project. We also learned today from the experience of the YU community, showing that ethnic universities are possible and powerful. And many guests agree that a Caribbean university is not only important, but necessary for our people. Leaders from Providence as well remind us that education must change at all levels, from children to elders. And there is a call to build our own education system involving schools, churches, and the entire community. The development of an ethno-education project, as says by Mr. Mark Taylor, and the proposal for a research center are important steps in this direction. Education was once used to reshape identity, but today it can become a tool for emancipation and self-determination. Also, Miss Sylvia Montoya, she told us about the resources available. She says both in Colombia and on the islands, there are professionals locally and internationally who are ready to support the vision, right? And this shows that the dream of the Raizal Caribbean University is not only possible, but also already in motion. This is not the end, Pastor Edgardo. I want to invite you all to come back on Wednesdays that we can speak about education once more. Thank you all for participating. Pastor, you can go ahead with the final prayer.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Siegfried, and to so many people who are willing to support us. And but I want to bring us into a moment of reflection and prayer, because Dr. Siegfried, while planning is necessary, while collaboration is a blessing, and while knowledge builds strong foundations, we recognize that this process must ultimately be guided by God. Our story as a people has always been one of faith. Education in San Andres has never been a project driven by political interests. It has been a mission of the church, a legacy of our Christian community, of our pastors, of our congregations, First Baptist Church and the Christian University founded by our own spiritual pioneers, all our churches on the island. And so we stand today on the shoulders of men and women who believe that knowledge and faith are not enemies, but partners in building a flourishing people. And so, as we envision the Raizal Ethnic University, we do not come as people starting from zero. I would say that very clearly. We come as a people continuing a legacy. We come as successors of a calling. We come as custodians of a future God has placed in our hands. So, my encouragement to us is that we must take our rightful place. Let us do it together as a people. We want to bring in as much people. I'm sure, Brother Hiram and every other will be working on that. So let us not allow third parties or even the national government to take away what God has entrusted to the Raizal people. This university must be led by us, protected by us, prayed over by us, and built by us, guided always by God. And so, in that spirit, I want to encourage us and invite us to support and join the Raizal Council in this process. This is the authority God and history have placed over our people for such a time like this. So let us walk with them, strengthen them, uphold them, and surround them with wisdom. I know before my closing prayer, I know that Hira want to say something.
Yes, I those appreciate you all also, Pastor Edgardo and Dr. Siegfried. People might not know, but you are out of the territory actually. You are part of the Raizal diaspora that stand with us constantly, just like you're here with us. Pastor Edgardo there from El Paso, Texas, and Dr. Siegfried there in Cayman Islands. This is a huge effort. We are very thankful to everybody that accompanied us today. It touches deeply to see the solidarity and the willingness of so many people over the world. Indeed, it has been a hard work in all this time. When people figured that we were sleeping and the university died, we was there standing up in our feet planting the seeds, because we know deeply and convinced that this day will come, that justice will come up and reparation will come up for what they done unjustly with us. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
So let us pray. Let us pray. Lord, guide this process with your hand. Give clarity, favor, unity, and strength to every leader, and especially to the Raizal Council. Bless every partner, every university, every community member who lift their hand to help. So we pray, God, that you will guide this process completely. Give us wisdom, give us the strength, and just give us discernment, Lord, to follow through with the ways in which you are guiding us. We bless this time, we bless this day, our islands. We love you, we praise you, Lord. We thank you for all that you are doing, and we cannot wait to see the accomplishment that you will have us have through this Christian university, through this Raizal University. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Goodbye to everyone.
Raizal people, it's time for the uprising. Let us rise and shine.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when you feel like giving up, as you try to bother hill,
when you feel like smiling, but your heart feels so trill, yeah. Don't give up, rest if you will, but keep your unbroken will, yeah.
like the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky. Again and again, lift your head high. So please, don't you cry. Tell on Jah, He will satisfy.
Once again, me say rise, I shall rise. We don't have time to cry, everything will be fine. We stand strong, it's time to move on. We are gonna reach to the stars, to the moon, to the sun.
This is something we want to know if you understand. Rise and people give thanks to the Almighty One. Cause all of the grown are singing song. Rise and shine, so shall sing in a this a song.
Rise and shall rise.
Where there is light, there will be hope.
Rise and shall rise.
Oh, no Jah, that is for sure.
Rise and shall rise.
Standing up strong, I reach for your goal.
Rise and shall rise.
Let us all unite with one heart and soul.
One day our hearts will no more be hurt. All the pain and suffering rise up, it will surely work.
The day we come together and stand up with determination, then Raizal nation will shout out for liberation. To take back the territory. Cause this a land that we fight to free our being. Free the chains and bandage of colony.
Far away from home, but still worry about their own. Maybe strangle and decolonize. Therefore, it had to run.
Waiting for its diaspora through the island in the sun. Rise and shine out the Raizal, all ye daughters and sons, yeah.
And again, it will be nice. Do not yourself minimize. Sense of belonging must be sky high. Stand up strong, Raizal, where the sun of the sky.
Leave the high nights of the royal fear. Just remember joy come when the morning clear. Jaja, I put your hand up in the air. In Jaja hand, now everything gone clear.
Wake up and live, rise and we soon clear the hill. If we stick together still, no way they could break our will. It's time to be great again. Arise and shine. Wake up and live. Booyaka, sayaka, mayaka. To free oneself from this corruption. So there will be no more pollution. From colonizer, barbaration. In the name of the creator of creation.